Black teen humiliated when he walks into gun store. 1 hour later, they were frozen. You need to leave, now. We don't serve people like you. Jamal stared at the man behind the counter. No anger, just disbelief. He'd asked about a holster for his uncle. Instead, he got humiliated in front of strangers. But 1 hour later, that same store would fall into stunned silence. Not from violence, but from the truth. This is the story of a teen dismissed, then seen by millions. A gun store, a hidden phone, and a moment that froze the room. Welcome, story lovers. Where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. It was a Saturday afternoon in a quiet southern town, the kind where everyone knows your name, but only if you look like you belong. Jamal, 17, had just wrapped up basketball practice and stopped by the local gun shop. Not for himself, his uncle's birthday was coming up, and he wanted to buy a custom engraved holster. His uncle, a veteran, had taught him about responsibility, safety, and pride. Dressed in gym clothes, still sweaty from the court, Jamal walked in with the same confidence he wore on the hardwood. The store was small, cluttered, and filled with polished wooden cases and American flags. As he stepped in, the chatter stopped. Heads turned. The air changed. Jamal didn't realize it yet, but he had just walked into more than a store. He had walked into a test of dignity. And within the hour, the people inside would never forget his name. The bell above the door jingled behind him. Jamal approached the counter, scanning the shelves, trying to ignore the silence behind him. A man near the back, a tall, bearded customer in a camo jacket, whispered something to the clerk. The clerk's expression shifted. His eyes narrowed. Jamal politely asked about the holster engraving options. The clerk didn't respond immediately. Instead, he leaned forward and said, "We don't do custom work for people like you. Try someplace else." Jamal blinked, confused. People like me? That's when the second man spoke up from the side. Looks like someone's casing the place. Laughter. Not the good kind, the dangerous kind. The clerk stepped back and reached under the counter, resting his hand on something Jamal couldn't see. You need to leave, now. Heart pounding, Jamal backed toward the door. Then, just before leaving, he pulled out his phone and hit record. He calmly asked why he was being treated this way. No threats, just questions. The clerk's response was bitter and loud. "Because you don't belong here." He left, humiliated, but not broken. An hour later, Jamal returned. Not alone. With him were his uncle, in full military uniform, and 2 local reporters. They walked straight into the shop, silent but firm. The same clerk stuttered, the same customers froze. Because this time, the world was watching. The silence was thicker than before. Jamal stood beside his uncle, who calmly placed his veteran's ID on the counter. "You remember my nephew?" he asked, voice low, steady. The clerk swallowed hard. "We don't tolerate racists," the uncle said, "especially when they target family." The cameras rolled. The questions began. Jamal didn't say much. He didn't have to. His phone replayed the earlier encounter. The shop owner, who had seen the footage, rushed in, pale and stammering apologies. But it was too late. The damage was done. The store's social media exploded within minutes. Sponsors pulled out. And those same customers who had laughed, they stood silent, frozen in shame. Jamal didn't raise his voice. He just stood tall, recorded everything, and let the truth do the talking. Dear audience, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to give it a like. It helps. Jamal never got an apology he could believe in, but he got something more powerful: visibility. His video went viral, sparking a wave of local support and nationwide conversations. His school invited him to speak about the experience. His uncle's calm strength became a symbol in the community. The store eventually closed. But this wasn't about revenge. It was about recognition. What happened in that hour exposed what too many still pretend doesn't exist. A teen was treated like a criminal simply because of his skin. Jamal's courage reminded people that silence enables injustice. He learned that sometimes the strongest voice is the one that stays calm, steady, and undeniable. And for anyone watching who thinks their voice doesn't matter, Jamal's story proves otherwise. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories and new videos.